Ah, Mauvier, do you have a moment? I'd like your help with an experiment.
Sir Lindon, of course. I will help however I can.
I need you to take this ear of corn and throw it up into the air.
What sort of experiment is this?
I'm going to blast the corn with L thunder and make it explode. By my calculations, this will cause its kernels to pop evenly, making for an immaculate snack.
This seems ill thought out.
Well, you know what they say. No risk, no reward. No snack time. I suppose the most likely risk is that you might pop instead, and not evenly at that.
Then I must decline.
What? Oh, come now. Haven't you learned that you should always help your elders?
Have you not learned to never cast L thunder near other people outside of battle?
You argue like an elder yourself.
I am more than happy to help with any and all experiments. However, I will not risk my life for corn. My apologies, Sir Lindon.
Oh, very well. I suppose snack time is postponed for now.
Sir Lindon, you dropped something.
Oh, how clumsy of me. Thank you, Mauvier.
This is the likeness of a young woman. She is quite beautiful.
Ah, I heartily agree. This is a drawing of my late wife.
Oh, your wife, Sir Lindon.
She wasn't just beautiful. She was kind, loving, and the best friend I could have asked for. It's been some time since she passed, yet my love for her continues to grow. Ah, how I wish I could see her smile once more, taste her cooking again.
It hurts to see you sad. If there is anything I can do...
Do you mean it? Oh, what a wonderful offer. Thank you, Mauvier. Now, take this corn and hurl it skyward.
What? Not this again.
Oh, but my dear late wife loved corn, you see. She would want us to celebrate her this way. Now then, whenever you're ready, I'm standing by to blast. I know what you're thinking, but don't worry. I probably... No, almost definitely won't miss.
No. Goodbye, Sir Lindon.
Mauvier? Mauvier, wait! You still have my corn!
Sir Lindon, is all well? Is that your wife's picture?
You've caught me in a vulnerable moment. How embarrassing. A man my age should know when to let go of the past. Quite unbecoming of me.
There is nothing at all embarrassing about having a deep love for your spouse.
Ah, you're right, of course. We raised 3 children, you know. They're all grown now, living their lives. They have their own homes, their own families. It's become difficult to gather all of us together. The further we grow apart, the brighter my memories seem to shine. More and more, I find myself looking backward rather than forward. I'm not sure how to change that, or if I should.
Having memories you enjoy looking back on is proof of a life well lived. My own life knows more regrets than happiness.
Ah, but you are now free to carve out a new life. One more fulfilling than my own, perhaps.
Thank you for the kind words, Sir Lindon.
Think nothing of it. Now, do you find yourself in the mood for experimental snacking science?
I should have known.
You speak of regrets? Never tasting L Thunder popcorn would be most regrettable indeed.
It is my understanding that I have a fulfilling life ahead. So be true with your aim.
Huzzah! Let the experiment begin!
Excuse me, Lindon. Do you mind if I ask you a bit of an odd question?
Ask away, Saphir.
Well, actually, never mind. Forget I said anything.
You seemed quite solemn about it. Whatever it was, there was pain there as well, as though something weighs heavily on your heart. I think you should go ahead and come out with it.
Okay. About 30 years ago, you'd already begun your career as a soldier of Elusia, right?
Indeed I had. I joined as a royal soldier almost immediately upon graduating Elusia's National Academy.
You must have taken part in campaigns against Brodia around that time then.
Yes. Yes, I did.
If I were to name a town or a village in Brodia, would you remember if... No, this is inappropriate. I shouldn't be asking.
Saphir,
I'm sorry to bother you. I hope I didn't offend.
Well now, this bears some looking into. Saphir, may I speak to you for a moment?
Of course, Lindon. What is it?
Your guess that I was an Elusian soldier about 30 years ago was correct. That said, my tour of duty never brought me to any rural fishing villages.
You looked into this. Into where I'm from.
Indeed.
All right, I'll say it. Elusia attacked my home village 30 years ago. A lot of folks were killed. My parents included. It's not that I'm on a revenge quest or anything. I haven't been searching for their killers. But if you were a soldier in Elusia at that time, I couldn't help but wonder.
No, your suspicions are only natural. I would wonder the same thing in your shoes.
I still shouldn't have asked. We're on the same side now. There's no need to dig this up.
If you want to hate me, Saphir, you have the right. Even if you wanted me dead, I'd allow it if it would ease your pain.
What? Why would you say that?
Because I mean it. I may not have done any harm to your parents personally, but I was a soldier in that war. I can easily see a world in which it was I who ended your parents' lives. I am a man long past his prime. I'd happily go to my end if it would bring you relief. And although words can change nothing now, I do apologize. I am truly, profoundly sorry.
I can't do this. Excuse me.
Oh dear.
Now that is how you fillet a fish.
I must say, you handle the fillet knife splendidly.
Lindon.
It's quite something to see such a large fish gutted and cleaned in a matter of moments.
No, not really. Any kid growing up near the water can do the same by about 7.
I see. Saphir, about our last conversation.
Anyway, you've got perfect timing. I was just about to sear this fish. Want to lend me your magic touch? Come on, do the honors.
I would be glad to, but...
Our earlier conversations weighing on you.
I'm afraid so. I cannot deny that I took part in the war that cost your parents their lives. I would understand completely if you held a grudge against me.
With all due respect, Lindon, drop this before I lose my cool.
I'm sorry?
My problem isn't with you. It's with the war. If I held grudges against everyone involved, it'd never end. I've seen enough to understand that.
I suppose, but...
I mean it. You're not doing me any favors taking on that burden.
You're right. I see now that I was being entirely foolish.
Not entirely. You've shown you care. That means something. Now, are you gonna sear this fish for me or what? We've got hungry folks waiting.
Then there's no time to waste. No more apologies. I've got bigger fish to fry.
Sir Lindon? What are you doing?
Ah, Jade, hello. I was just baking some pastries with thunder magic. I prefer them to be a bit thunder-cooked. Oh, my. What is that book you're holding, I wonder? I've read just about every book ever written, but I don't believe I recognize that cover.
I would be amazed if you had. This is one of my novels. I wrote it myself.
Oh, my stars, how wonderful! Please, you must let me read it.
You want to read my book? I'll warn you, it's a bit lighter in tone than you might prefer.
So, it's a comedy, huh? I see. Well, that only deepens my interest. I could do with a refreshing rise in tone. Is there any way I could convince you to let me read it? What if I baked some pastries for you? Would that help to seal the deal?
No need for that, though I appreciate the offer. I would be honored just to hear your thoughts, unless you don't care for it, that is. Then we'll both pretend we never had this conversation.
Ah, so you will let me read it? Thank you, Jade. My goodness, Jade, I do believe I nearly busted a gut with laughter, as the saying goes. It's clear that you have a considerable talent for writing comedies.
That's high praise. Thank you, Sir Lindon.
Your characters have so much life in them. They practically leap off the page. How many of them are based on real people? A few of our mutual friends did come to mind.
I may have slipped in a few parallels to certain persons, living or dead.
You have a keen eye for observation and a skill for capturing them on the page. It was a magnificent novel, truly. I thank you again for sharing your passion with me.
Of course. Thank you so much for reading it.
I have a bit of that fire myself, truth be told. I've chronicled my early years in a book of my own.
You have?
Indeed. I haven't mentioned it to many people.
I would love to read it, if you wouldn't mind sharing.
Wonderful! I hoped you might. What a thrill it is having a fellow writer among our ranks. I can hardly contain myself. If and when you have the time, we should compare our lists of favorite comedies.
Yes, please. I would love that.
What a fortuitous meeting this has been. And here I thought nothing could surprise me. This was quite a welcome surprise, Jade. I had hardly put your last chapter down before you presented me with this new one.
Well, now that you're reading my early drafts, each editing pass goes much more smoothly.
Ah, of course.
So, what did you think? Don't make me beg, because I will.
It was magnificent. I enjoyed this chapter even more than the last.
That is such a relief to hear.
Especially that new fellow who debuts in this chapter. What a pleasant addition he was. He laughed, he cried, he felt truly alive. He might be my new favorite character of yours. I must admit, I felt a certain kinship toward him.
I'm glad to hear that. I hope you don't think it too presumptuous of me, but I did model that character after you.
Aha! I had a hunch. What a wonderful feeling to laugh along with your fictional counterpart. I now take his potent zest for life as the highest of compliments. Again, thank you for letting me read your marvelous book, Jade.
The honor is entirely mine, I promise.
I think I'll bake some pastries to thank you. You will have some, yes?
Glowing praise and warm pastries? Twist my arm, why don't you?
It's no use. I'm so tired that none of this is registering.
Is there a problem, lad?
Hello, sir. I was just trying to get through this book.
Reading at this late hour, are you? I admire your determination. What are you studying?
Medicine.
You look tired. It must be hard to focus so late at night.
I know I haven't gotten much sleep, but there's just so much to memorize.
Battles by day, studies by night. The candle that burns at both ends doesn't last long, lad. You'll wear out your own body long before you learn to care for anyone else's.
I know you're right. It's just...
You'd be better served closing those books for now and giving yourself a change of pace.
But I still have so much to learn.
Books are wonderful teachers, lad, but there are lessons they can't impart. It might be time you looked somewhere else to learn a thing or two. Do that, and you might find that you'll get more out of your books when you return to them.
You really think that's true?
I do indeed. Give me a few days, and I'll see about setting up a lesson for you. Here we are, Jean. Your new classroom.
A meadow? Why are we here? I don't see anyone who could teach me anything.
Look harder, then.
Where?
The flowers blooming all around us. They'll be your teachers for today.
You're kidding, right, sir?
Oh, not at all. I'm very serious. You've exhausted yourself, lad, both physically and mentally. Nothing you could read in a book right now will teach you as much as these flowers can. Humor me and take a seat at my side.
Okay, if you say so.
Now lie back slowly and look up at the sky. Then take a long, deep breath.
Okay. Like that?
My goodness, do you hear that? The flowers are whispering to you.
They are? I don't hear anything.
Try relaxing your shoulders more and turning your ears toward them.
I still don't hear anything. They smell good, though. And there's a nice breeze in the air.
Is that so? Then maybe you should take it all in more fully.
I'll do just that.
Asleep at last. And about time, too.
Sir, I'm sorry I was so rude last time. I didn't mean to fall asleep in the middle of a lesson.
You have nothing to apologize for. Getting you some rest was the whole point. Although there was a lesson to be learned there from the flowers.
There was?
Don't be in such a hurry that you neglect to take rests. You'll miss the forest for the trees.
Oh, I admit, I did have an easier time concentrating on that book once I got home from the meadow.
Aha! Glad to hear it.
Sir, would you do me the honor of taking me on as a student?
Who? Me?
I learned a lot from that lesson. I need more than books. It would be better if I had a whole range of knowledge and expertise. That's the kind of thing a master sage like you could offer.
A master sage, huh?
Should I not call you that?
No, the title is fine. It's just, I have a lot to teach, and I'm getting on in years. I might end before my curriculum does.
I wouldn't worry too much about that. I'm still learning, but as your doctor, I'll see to it that you stay in good health.
So that's the deal, huh? Well played, well played. I accept then. From now on, consider yourself my student.
Thank you, sir. I'll make you proud.
Sir Lindon, is something troubling you?
I'm loath to admit it, but my lower back has been giving me terrible pain lately. For all my training as a royal knight of Illusia, I suppose there's no defeating old age.
What nonsense. You are a sage of no small talent. I would say you haven't lost a step.
You're right that my mind is as sharp as ever, but physically, my decline has been just dismal. You're no spring chicken yourself, you know. Can you really say you're as fit as ever?
I will not pretend that I still have the stamina nor the reflexes of my prime. But what I have lost in that regard, I have been rewarded in experience. Nothing is gained moaning about your age. Do what you can with the body you have.
Very astute. I should take a page from your book. I may be getting on in years, but damned if I'll let the youth run rings around me.
There you go, Sir Lindon. Well said.
Part of me wants to rest and relax in my twilight years, but you've convinced me to squeeze just a little more blood from this aging stone.
Problems, Sir Lindon?
I found a very intriguing tome. With what's in here, I may be able to develop a whole new type of magic.
That does sound interesting. What sort of magic?
You won't believe this, but it's a spell to restore one's youth.
Surely such a spell could not actually exist. Could it?
It's still theoretical for now. I can't promise I'll get results, even if I work out the particulars. But if I succeed, we could fight just as ably as our young comrades. I'm no slouch even as I am, but if I had my youth back, I'd be a terror on the battlefield. And never mind the war. Magic like this would change society as we know it. If I make any headway here, I promise that you'll be first in line for the spell.
What you describe is a dream come true. Yet I believe I shall decline.
Why is that? Don't you want your lost youth back?
I said before, I am satisfied to do what I can with the body I have. I pass on what I have learned to younger folk. The world needs mentors as much as warriors.
All right. I commend you for sticking by your principles. But if my work pans out, I wager you'll be singing a different tune. I suppose we'll see, won't we?
Sir Lindon, how has your work on rejuvenation magic gone since last we spoke?
The experiment failed dismally. I chalk it up to an error in the tome that first piqued my interest. A spell to restore lost youth sounded too good to be true. And so it was.
I see. How unfortunate.
Honestly, I found myself a little relieved.
Why is that?
I have been rewarded in experience. The world needs mentors. As I set up my experiments, I recalled many times what you'd said to me. In my younger days, I learned so much of what I knew from the guidance of my elders. The idea of a world without such mentors in it began to frighten me a bit. Then too, growing older and losing my skills as a knight taught me a few things. Perhaps it's only at our age that we become capable of filling those roles.
Ah, you have finally seen the light. A shame there was no one to drill such sense into the scribe of that failed spell tome.
The error was quite shocking when I realized. Still, I reaped a bit of an unintended benefit.
Oh? Do tell.
Do you notice anything looking at me?
You do seem a tad more sprightly than when we last crossed paths.
Very perceptive. In the course of my work, I did discover a minor ritual that helped ease my back pain. Thanks to that, I feel fit as a fiddle.
Is this true?
Do I detect a hint of interest? Has a certain someone's back been bothering him?
I was reluctant to admit it, but yes, you have the right of it.
Well then, stay very still, Vander, and I'll prepare the ritual for you as well. After all, mentoring the younger generations will be easier if you're in shape for it.
Leave it to an Elusian sage to find success even in failure.
You flatter me, sir. Now, let's show those fresh-faced soldiers what a few old fogies can do. My, what happened here to bring you to such a state?
Oh, I found a book lying around. But when I started reading it, it was so moving that I couldn't hold back the waterworks.
A tragedy, is it? Tell me more.
It's a story of a great sage known only as L.
Oh? Tell me more about this L fellow.
It starts off with L as a young boy who's at the top of his class at an academy in Alusia. Then it follows him as he becomes a royal soldier, even ending up as the prince's retainer.
I'm with you so far.
The prince was supposed to ascend the throne, but it ended up being somebody else instead. The prince left the castle in frustration. L just stands there, stunned as he goes. That was too sad to take, so I don't know what happens next.
Oh, you poor thing. Here, dry your eyes.
Thank you, sir. You know, lots of books make me cry, but this one hit me really hard for some reason. I'm thinking about the prince's bitterness and the way Elle felt to see him go. It's just too tragic.
You got me invested now. If you keep reading, do tell me how it turns out.
Sure thing, sir.
And you can keep the handkerchief. So, how's that book of yours coming along? Oh, but where are my manners? I meant to give you a treat first.
These are some tasty-looking pastries.
I baked them myself. There's apple filling inside.
You bake, Sir Lindon?
Oh, yes. Nothing bakes a pastry like a good jolt of thunder magic. Go on, try one.
Well, don't mind if I do. Wow. I had no idea a little zap of lightning could make such a tasty treat.
Good, aren't they? Now back to the subject of your book.
Oh, yeah. Last time, the prince Elle worked for didn't inherit the throne, so he left the castle. Then, Elle meets another royal soldier and finds comfort with her. They get married and begin an ordinary but happy life together. That's as far as I've got for now.
Fascinating. This story has its hooks in me. I was a royal soldier once myself, you know. I notice you don't seem to be crying today, though.
It's actually pretty tough to hold it in. Elle's wife goes through so much for his sake, but I'm embarrassed to be seen crying all the time. So, I'm doing my best to keep it together.
Don't hold back on my account. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Cry as hard as you like. Let it all out.
Are you sure? Well, if you say so.
Oh my, your nose is running. Here, something to wipe it with.
Thanks again.
I baked cookies for us, Boucheron. With thunder, of course, as always. Now, eat up.
Oh, I can't wait. Hey, there's raisins in these. Yum.
Read any further in that book yet?
Oh, I finished it, actually.
Have you now? Well then, tell me everything.
Well, sure. After the wedding, Elle's life was simple but happy. The couple went through hard times, but they did it together and saw their children grow up. But just when the kids were all grown and they could enjoy their sunset years, Elle's wife passed. Elle never got to feed his wife the last pastry he baked for her. With a bolt of thunder.
There, Boucheron. I find myself crying as well today.
I realized when I got to that part, this story is about you, isn't it?
Indeed it is. L, of course, is my first initial.
But why is there a book about you?
I thought, before I join my wife in the beyond, I'd record my life for posterity. But I was careless and lost the manuscript.
Oh, so you wrote this book? Well, now I'm sorry I read it without permission.
Nonsense. I'm genuinely glad that you picked it up and read the whole tale.
It was wonderfully written for what it's worth.
Why don't we spend more time together? you can get to know me until my last pages.
It would be my pleasure.
Splendid! I'm in such a good mood that I think I might bake another batch of sweets. But lightning baking takes time, so why don't you tell me your story?
Let's see. Where to start? I guess with the day my parents met.
Hey, Lindon. My sister's asking for you.
Ah, thank you, Princess Hortensia. So sorry to have made you fetch me like this.
That's okay. I had a thing to do and you were on the way. Oh, that's a pretty painting. The lady's beautiful. Is she your daughter?
This lovely painting is of my even lovelier wife.
Yeah, she's a vision. You're a lucky guy.
If she were here now, I'm sure she would be delighted to hear you say so.
You'll have to introduce us next time she's around. I'd love to meet her.
Unfortunately, that will not be possible. She passed away some time ago.
Oh no, I had no idea. I'm so sorry.
It's quite all right, Princess Hortensia. We raised 3 children together. They're all grown now, off living lives of their own. I've had mages to train and keep me company, and I'm sure she's at peace in the hereafter.
You've accomplished so much. I'm sure if she were here, she'd say she's very proud. Say, Lindon, would you consider giving me some lessons? I could learn a lot from you.
I'm flattered that you would suggest the idea, but I think it best for us both that I decline.
How come?
I simply don't have the stamina to teach anymore.
I understand. You've still got battles to fight. I shouldn't trouble you.
Don't fret. I'm sure there's a spry spellcaster out there who would make the perfect tutor.
Lindon, can we talk? I was hoping you might reconsider giving me some lessons.
As I said before, Princess Hortensia, I don't have the energy for teaching anymore. Besides, I've heard that you're already top of the class in the Illusion Academy, are you not? There's no reason to rush your education. Take the time to grow.
My father didn't live long enough to see me make it on my own. That's why I'm in a rush. I don't want any more regrets like that.
Ah, of course.
I want my father to rest knowing I can take care of myself. Like your children do. You can help me with that, can't you?
I understand you, truly, but I have further reasons to decline.
What do you mean?
Since King Hyacinth's abrupt passing, Illusia has been gripped in a moment of crisis. In a time such as this, even a minor incident could upset the balance of our kingdom. To protect my beloved Illusia, I must dedicate all of my strength to our reconstruction efforts. Under these conditions, I simply do not have any time to devote to you, Princess Hortensia.
So that's why Ivy was asking for you. I'm sorry, Lindon. I was being selfish. I was thinking only of my own education, while you and Ivy are both hard at work for Illusia.
No, you have nothing to apologize for. There's no fault in looking out for yourself, Princess Hortensia.
Maybe you're right. Thanks. I am still a princess of Illusia, though. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. What can I do for Illusia? What can I do, Father? Help me.
If he were here, I'm sure King Hyacinth would say that you already serve our kingdom well.
Lindon, how can you be so sure? My father's gone. Ivy was always the model daughter, but I was more of a pain. When I imagine him looking down on me, all I see on his face is disappointment.
I was originally a retainer to the king's older brother, your uncle. I think you knew that. At that time, I did not think kindly of King Hyacinth.
Really? I had no idea.
There was a scrabble for succession, with your uncle openly opposing your father's claim. In the end, the elder brother lost the battle for the throne and soon abandoned the country. I had argued passionately in favor of your uncle, so I resented your father right out of the gates. But then, one day, he turned to me and said, "Lindon, you serve our kingdom well."
Huh.
I didn't know what to make of that. He and I were supposed to be enemies. Then I realized that he meant it. In uncertain times, we both cared deeply for Elusia's safety. That's why I can confidently speak for him and say, "You serve our kingdom well."
That means a lot to me.
What's more, a parent always loves their child. King Hyacinth could never be disappointed in you, Princess Hortensia. I've raised 3 children to your 0, so if I say it's true, you have no room to argue.
Okay. Consider me convinced. I really do feel much better now. Thank you. I'm going to keep taking care of myself and keep doing my best. I'll make Father proud.
That's it. That's the spirit. I may lack time, but I'm never short on words of advice. If you ever need to talk, I will listen. You're a fine, accomplished young woman. I'm eager to see what else you become.
I'll make you proud too, Lindon.
Are you ready to begin, Divine One?
I think so, Lindon. But I do want to double-check one last thing. This experiment will somehow result in making people's lives easier and happier, right?
Absolutely, Divine One. What I learned by examining you is certain to lead to a new discovery or 3. I anticipate very interesting results relating to quality sleep.
Quality sleep?
You dozed for 1,000 years, after all. It's fair to say no one has ever slept more soundly than you. Maybe we'll find out why.
Do you really think that's likely?
I most certainly do. This could be a godsend for those who struggle with insomnia.
I hadn't thought of that. All right, sure. I'd love to help with your experiment.
I greatly appreciate it, Divine One. The first step is to cast thunder on you a few times to see how your body reacts. You'll grow numb to the pain soon enough, but your hair may not survive the experience.
You know, I've changed my mind. Sorry, but you'll have to find another test subject. I keep thinking back to what you were saying about sleep, Lindon.
Ah, greetings, Divine One.
I'm still a firm no on that experiment, but I do want to talk about it with you.
Are you sure you want to waste your time visiting this old codger? There are so many others you could talk to who'd have a real impact on your life.
What's gotten into you? Is this because you got a talking to from Vander? He wasn't happy to hear you might have burned my hair off.
Well, no use dredging up the distant past, I always say.
I know it won't happen again. So let's put it behind us and talk about sleep.
I'm relieved to hear you don't hold a grudge, but even so, I don't know how much use I'll be. Find a more practical and efficient use of your time, or you'll regret it down the roads.
Well, I'd hate to waste any time, it's true. I, of all people, know how fleeting it can be.
Well said. Now then.
All the more reason why we should sit and have this talk without delay, Lindon. There's a lot I want to ask, and any more back and forth would be impractical and inefficient.
Well, but on the other hand, too smart for your own good, I say. But have it your way. Whatever wisdom I've got is at your disposal. My, but you're a quick study, Divine One.
I have a good teacher.
Ha. Cheap flattery won't win me over. Ah, but I never thought I'd live to see this day. A former royal knight of Elusia sitting with a divine dragon for a chance. If I could somehow go back and tell my younger self about it, I don't think I'd believe me.
Something on your mind?
Just a request of the divine dragon from someone who has been around a while. Stay alive, no matter what foulness you see in this life.
Lindon?
Among my many days were some so trying that I was tempted to give up and die. But something always came along afterward that made me glad I lived to see it. My friendship with you, Divine One, rates high among those happy occasions.
I'm touched that you'd say so.
Push hard through those bleakest of nights toward the dawn where things seem brighter. If there's one bit of wisdom I'd want today's youth to heed from me, it's that.
I'll take it to heart. Although, I should mention, Lindon, you talk a lot about how long-lived you are. But you realize I'm actually far older, right?
I suppose you are at that. You see, every day's a surprise. So this is the Pact Ring. I can tell already that there's great power bound up in it. You don't mind if I experiment with it a bit, hmm? First, I'll test its reaction to thunder.
Wait, stop. That ring is very important.
Just winding you up, Divine One. So, is there some reason you're showing me this ring?
I was hoping you'd wear it.
I suppose I could. But why?
As a sign of our partnership?
Pardon? What's gotten into you? Why would you want a partnership with me, of all people? I thought you were bright, but you're proving yourself an utter fool. I'm far too old to enter into something new with anyone now.
I beg to differ. We work well together. This ring is a sign of the partnership we already have. We're stronger together. I want to seal that bond in the hopes of saving the world.
It has to be me, huh? There's no one younger. I only have so many years left. You do this, and you'll end up feeling like I did the day I lost my wife. Nothing but sorrow for you lies down that road.
Right now matters more to me. You're alive now. I draw inspiration and strength from you now. Besides, even if I choose someone younger, I'm a dragon. I'd outlive any of them anyway. Do you really think I'm a fool to ask this of you?
No, you aren't. If one of us is being foolish here, it's me. You came to me in need, and I brushed you off without a second thought. Give me the ring, and I'll give you whatever I've got left.
I appreciate that. Really and truly.
Listen to me. I sound so ungrateful. Thank you for this gift. I'll make sure that it's worth your while. Now, shall we go save the world?